Long before the modern geopolitical tensions between Israel and Iran emerged, the Bible recorded the historical and spiritual ties between the Jewish people and the land of Persia, what we now know as modern-day Iran. In the book of Esther, we are given a glimpse into the Jewish life in ancient Persia. King Cyrus of Persia had earlier issued the decree allowing Jews to return and rebuild Jerusalem after the Babylonian exile, showcasing God's hand even through foreign rulers. Yet, despite these moments of favor, Persia birthed one of the earliest genocidal threats against the Jews, foreshadowing deeper enmities to come. Under King Ahasuerus, the Jews lived in exile, scattered throughout the vast Persian Empire. While figures like Esther and Mordecai rose to prominence and courageously defended their people from annihilation by Haman's wicked plot, this era reflected a recurring biblical theme of divine preservation of Israel amid hostility. Persia was a paradoxical land in the Jewish narrative, both a land of favor and of threats. Fast forward to today, modern Iran, the ancient land of Persia, has positioned itself as a leading antagonist to the state of Israel, echoing ancient spiritual enmities. This intensifying hostility is not just political or ideological, it is spiritual. Today's geopolitical landscape increasingly mirrors Ezekiel's vision. The world witnessed in the past weeks how hostilities were renewed between Israel and Iran, with the U.S. playing an active role in the region. Iran has vowed to destroy Israel and actively arms terrorist proxies like Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in Gaza. Russia, which was once lukewarm in Middle Eastern affairs, now has military entrenchment in Syria, directly north of Israel. Turkey has adopted a more Islamic nationalist posture, drawing closer to Russia and Iran on certain military and ideological fronts. African and Arab states are shifting alliances, with some distancing from Israel, while others draw close under fragile peace accords. What once seemed like an improbable coalition now feels dangerously plausible. Technologies of war, energy crises, religious extremism, and global political unrest are aligning in ways that could easily erupt into the war described by prophet Ezekiel 2,600 years ago. In Ezekiel 38, prophet Ezekiel presents a vivid prophetic picture of a future coalition of nations that will rise against Israel in the latter days. The chapter is not merely a symbolic allegory as detailed, geographical, and specific. It names peoples, regions, and leaders. At the center of this apocalyptic alliance is a mysterious figure known as Gog, a demonic entity from the land of Magog, described as the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, according to Ezekiel 38 verses 1-6. The coalition that comes against Israel in the future consists of the following nations. Gog of Magog. Many scholars and theologians identify Magog with regions north of Israel, possibly encompassing parts of modern-day Russia or Central Asia. Persia, unquestionably referring to modern Iran, is listed second after Gog, indicating its significant role in this confederacy. Cush and Put, often identified with Sudan and Libya, representing nations from Africa. Gomer and Beth Togarmah. These are traditionally linked with regions in modern-day Turkey. These nations form an unlikely alliance unified not by culture or ideology, but by a shared hatred and aggression toward Israel. So what is the motivation behind this war? Ezekiel 38 verses 10-12 state that Gog will devise an evil plan, driven by a desire to plunder and seize Israel's resources, but the deeper motivation is spiritual. The prophecy says that God himself will put hooks into Gog's jaws, drawing this coalition into a conflict they cannot escape. At the time of this invasion, Israel is described as a land restored from war, dwelling securely with unwalled villages. This could imply a period of relative peace or false security, which may follow a future treaty or regional stability before the sudden betrayal. The most striking feature of Ezekiel 38 is not the size of the invading army, but God's fierce response. The Lord declares that in that day, his fury will rise in his face. Ezekiel 38 verse 18. A great earthquake shaking the land. Ezekiel 38 verse 19 and 20. Confusion among the armies, leading to mutual destruction. Ezekiel 38 verse 21. Pestilence, torrential rain, hailstones, fire, and brimstone. Ezekiel 38 verse 22. This is not merely a geopolitical battle. It is a moment where God vindicates his name before the nations. Ezekiel 38-23 summarizes it powerfully. So I will magnify myself and sanctify myself, and I will be known in the eyes of many nations. Then they shall know that I am the Lord. The Gog and Magog prophecy in Ezekiel 38 is not a tale of doom, it is a divine declaration that history is under God's sovereign control. While the nations may conspire and rise against Israel, the Lord will once again reveal his power. It's not just to save his people, but to awaken the world to his reality. This war reminds us of an eternal truth. Israel is at the center of God's redemptive plan, and no alliance of nations can thwart his purposes. Let those who have eyes to see and ears to hear watch, pray, and discern the times. For the stage of prophecy is being set, and the players have already taken their places.